So what I'm going to do now is go to my modules and I'm going to choose work order and asset management. So now we're going to look at some ways to streamline, find it, fix it details, preventative maintenance, things like that, to reduce, to get information out of that headspace that is captured up here. For a lot of our facility managers, they have a lot of information and task lists and to-dos in their mind, and let's help find ways to get that organized and channeled out where it needs to be. Also, an efficient way to deliver information to the people that need to perform that work. So let's look first at find it, fix it detail. So we're in work order management. It looks a lot like Event Scheduler in structurally. You have your menu on the left, your dashboard in the middle that's going to represent the different statuses of work orders depending on how you're attached to the work orders. Admins are obviously, just like Event Scheduler, going to see more information. But work orders, individual work orders, are going to be the find it, fix it details. If you're a facility manager, every time he or she leaves their office, they are getting grabbed on the sleeve because there's a leak, or there's a piece of carpet pulled up, or there's a table leg broken. That is getting them off task. 30%, okay? 30% of time, I want to make sure I get the statistics right, by our facilities teams are spent doing off-task duties. So if we can reduce that, if they're only being able to effectively use 70% of their time and you're already short-staffed, that is going to create a situation where you're not able to get those work items prioritized. So in work order management, we have a way for you to both prioritize and classify your work. So find it, fix it details. If a table leg is broken, we want to be able to alert our facilities team in a way that's going to help them organize that and prioritize it, make it part of their workflow, get it assigned to the right person so they don't have to worry about keeping it up here, remembering to write it down anywhere. It's just a great system to keep everything moving in the proper order. So find it, fix it details. Let's go ahead and add a work order. And I have multiple campuses in my account. So a lot of you may not see the same thing if you have work order and asset management. I love this program, by the way. You do have the ability to attach a space to your work orders. If you want to do that, it allows that information to be purely targeted to one space. Super helpful if somebody submits a work order and says the water fountain is leaking and you have 12 in your organization. They can let you know that the water fountain's leaking in the auditorium this way. You can both display spaces. You can also require that they select a space. Service categories are how your work is classified. Remember, I said everything in work order management has to be classified and prioritized. That's how we help it move nicely for you. So in service categories, we'll go ahead and select the one that closely matches. Now, in your account, if you're an admin, you are going to have the ability to classify your work in all kinds of different ways. And basically, you customize these the way that your organization is structured. So maybe grounds, if you have grounds for service category, maybe that's too broad and you need to narrow that down a little bit and add in some pond maintenance or fountains if you have things like that, or parking lot, things like that. So you can just, as I scroll through, see some examples of those service categories. So for this one, I'm just going to choose, let's go ahead and choose, we're just going to choose custodial. And for priority code, you have a few priority codes that are listed for you. But again, we want to make sure that people know what they're requesting right off the bat. So you have the ability to define those priority codes, add some descriptors like low means there's no threat to work, to output or operations. Urgent generally means something's on fire. We need to attend to that fast. Safety and security are at risk. High might mean an immediate inability to continue operations. So just give some descriptors. It sets the level of expectation for the people that are submitting your work order requests. So we're just going to say low on this one. It's leaking. There's really not a threat to output or operation. So we'll just say in the description, the water fountain, if I can type, is leaking. And they can even be specific, near the rear entrance. And we hope they're specific. That's helpful to you, right? For them to give you specific details. And then requested completion date, you have options here too. You can require this, you can hide it, you can leave it as is, you can preset it. I've got mine set to both be required, but also to add in a date of 7 days out for every work order that's completed. But you can also change this if you need to. You can move that up. And then you can add general comments or notes. And if someone's just submitting a work order, their view is going to look a little different. They're going to submit this work order. It takes a few seconds and they're going to click save. This is one way to submit a work order. Move that to a date in the past. I'm so sorry. Let's click save one more time. Try that again. And then that's going to open up some items for you in your work order. So this is where you can also really save some time. So task list. So you're going to see all the information listed here. Tasks, these can become part of a work order. These are checklist items to keep you on track. So great tool for training employees. If you need them to do jobs in a specific order or a specific way and make sure that every step is taken, you can build task lists. A couple ways you can do this. You can create these in your settings and advanced settings in task and task library. So they're already built and populated. So here's some examples of some of the tasks. You can see that they're listed out, so you can add individual ones. Like if I wanted to make sure the floors are mopped because the water fountain's leaking, I could add that and click save. If you need to add a new task, wipe floors dry prior to mopping, you can do that too. So you can add checklist items. And as the person who this work order is assigned to is completing each of these tasks, they can mark them complete. You can even move them around if you want. These are drag and drop. So if we wanted to move a task above another one to make sure they're done in a specific order, you can do that. You can also set it to have them record their time, the time completed for performing each of those tasks if that's important to you. You can do that. So task lists are great. They're a super way to keep everybody on track and make sure they're doing the work that they need to be doing. Conversations. I didn't mention this in Event Scheduler, but you can talk within a work order or an event for both modules to specific people that are attached to either an event or a work order using the Conversations tab. Attachments can also be added. I'm going to show you guys in a minute the public work order feature that's really going to be a time saver. They can snap a picture of their phone when they're submitting a work order from their mobile device, and it's going to show you on the Attachments tab the picture that's associated with the work that needs to be performed. If you have both our modules, Event Scheduler and Work Order Management, you have the option to include item closures on your work orders. So for instance, if you have this auditorium, if the water fountain leak led to a repair that was going to take a couple weeks, we could go ahead and put an item closure in, and it's going to feed in that space that you selected from your, from the initial work order creation. You can say, okay, it's going to be shut down from the 22nd until maybe January 5th. We're going to have this repair in place. It's going to show you can prevent setup or tear down. You can decide which spaces you want to select, and then it's going to show you right away if you have any events that are going to be affected based on that closure. So it's going to send the people connected to that event a notification that their event is canceled, or that there's a closure in place if they need to move that event to another room or move it to another date. So great way that both those modules are interconnected and can really help you save some time. So you don't have to, so if you have to create that closure, it's going to not only have the work order for it, it's going to close down the space to make sure no events are created during that time, and to give the people that are connected to the event the information they need if they need to rework that event. So great way to save time there.